This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next hour, the insane Daryl Wayne and I, we're going to take a look at two things that I think touch each and every one of us. During the second part of our show, we're going to talk about gender and gender identity. We have a guest who's co-written a book called Gender Without Identity. We'll find out what that means and why we need to have labels today in the 21st century. During the first part of our show, we're going to go to San Diego County, and we're going to spend some time with Dr. Bob Uslander. And Bob and his wife, Elizabeth, have created a company called Empowered Endings, and you can visit them at empoweredendings.com. In June of 2016, the End of Life Option Act became law in the state of California. We'll find out about that and maybe a little bit about Dr. Bob's and Elizabeth's background. Dr. Bob, welcome to Late Night Health.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it.
It's death and taxes, and sometimes not even taxes if you're, a very wealthy person. So, but death comes to us all.
It does, at some point.
Is death just part of life?
Well, clearly. I mean, people do go to a lot of lengths to try to deny that fact, but eventually it catches up to all of us. After being born, which is the one act that we all share, the only other thing that everybody absolutely does, in addition to certain things like breathing and hopefully sleeping and eating, we all eventually will die, and that's one of the great mysteries. It actually has several mysteries all combined in one. When are we going to die? How are we going to die? And
why are we going to die?
Why are we going to die, and what happens after we die? So lots of great fodder for contemplation and I understand that there's a lot of opportunity for people to be afraid of things that they don't understand. Part of our goal and mission is to help reduce some of the fear associated with it, to help people understand that they can have more control and they can have greater understanding and more support when their time comes to approach death.
You're obviously a medical doc. Your wife provides spiritual counseling to those who are ending life?
The people who are approaching the end of life, and in many cases, more importantly, to the loved ones who are caring for them. We both have recognized through our different experiences, and both professional and personal, that often as a person is approaching their end of life journey, the loved ones don't have adequate support to help navigate that space. And when they don't, it creates a lot of potential for fear, overwhelm, panic, and decisions that are not in anyone's best interest. So providing a lot of support and guidance to both families and loved ones is a big part of our journey, our mission.
In California, if somebody wants to off themselves, can they now?
It depends. So are you talking about legally?
Yeah, yes, legally. I mean, if somebody commits suicide, it's against the law, but what are you going to do?
Well, it's actually not against the law for an individual to commit suicide. It is against the law for somebody to assist them or to abet them. But it's been determined that it's not actually legal for somebody. It's not illegal for a person to commit suicide.
And that's because there's no ramifications,
right? Or even after they attempt, if somebody attempts suicide and they're not successful, they won't get arrested. They often will end up in a psychiatric hospital or going through an ordeal that is pretty unpleasant and traumatic. But so I think what you're referring to is in the state of California, as of June 9th of 2016, which we just passed the 7-year anniversary, the End of Life Option Act became law, and an adult who is a resident of California with a terminal condition and a life expectancy of less than 6 months who's competent to make decisions can go through the legal process called medical aid in dying and get access to medication that if they choose to take it, it'll let them go to sleep peacefully within minutes and die within a matter of minutes or hours. So there is a way for people who are terminally ill and competent to make decisions to have a gentle, peaceful, dignified end of life at the time and place of their choosing.
Oregon, I think, was one of the first, if not the first, state that allowed that.
Yeah, Oregon was the first, and that has been legal in Oregon since 1997, and then Washington State became the second in 2008, and California the third, and there have been a number of other states. I believe there's 10 states plus Washington, D.C. that have laws allowing medical aid in dying, and there's other states that have legislation in the works.
Is that a good thing, do you think?
I think it's a wonderful thing, especially when you sit with people who are dying and you learn about what they're going through and what their hopes and fears are. And both the patients and their loved ones express it deeply how grateful they are to have an option so that they don't have to suffer through pain, through debilitation, through what they consider indignities of the very end of a terminal condition. I just yesterday was with a woman in her early 70s, has had a wonderful life, very loving family, and she's dying of an advanced cancer that is just robbing her of every joy that she's had in her life, aside from being able to be with her family. And as her condition progresses, she'll require more medication that will rob her of even that. And she doesn't want to have to go to that extreme. Now she has an option, and she's incredibly grateful for it.
I've been watching with my wife a TV program from New Zealand. It's called Brokenwood. I recommend it, everybody. You can get it on Acorn. It's a murder mystery. And there's a little humor in it. But the episode we watched, which is a couple of years old, we're kind of zipping through 9 seasons of this show. We're toward the end of season 7. And there was a woman in her early 40s. She has young kids. She's been suffering from terminal cancer for 2 years. And I won't go through the witness protection program that she's in New Zealand, and her former husband who was killed and all this other stuff. But watching her suffer and want to take care of her kids and not have the ability to do so herself is heartbreaking, especially if somebody is young. You just mentioned somebody in their early 70s. That's too damn close, Bob.
Well, we have patients who are quite a bit younger at times, and it's always heartbreaking, especially when there's younger children involved. We have patients in their 90s and over 100, the whole range, the whole gamut, and it's never easy. I mean, most of the people who are going through this process, they don't want to die. They would love to live, and given the option, they would continue living. They don't have that option. And
of course, when it's my time, I'm going to ask the one question that we don't know: why? Why? Our guest is Dr. Bob Uslander. The name of he provides a service along with his wife called Empowered Endings, and you can check them out at empoweredendings.com. That's empoweredendings.com. And while we're talking about websites, be sure to visit us at latenighthealth.com. Latenighthealth.com. We'll have a pretty picture of Dr. Bob and maybe his wife up there with a link to their website and a story about them as well. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne, and I just have to say that Daryl's moved studios, and it's beautiful, and it's been a couple years. Well, no, we had Christmas lunch. We had a Christmas lunch, you and John Bandcamp and me.
Yeah, we did.
but it's been a long, long time. All right, we'll be back as Late Night Health continues. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment.
Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com.
If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.
It's time to tackle a tough topic, one that affects us all. We're talking about sexism in the workplace. The award-winning Identifying the Elephant in the Room series is back and ready to tackle some complicated communications issues again. This spring, we're focusing on critical communication strategies in the face of sexism. Join us as we hear from professionals in the natural products industry who have valuable career lessons to share and real-world experience to discuss from all sides of the elephant. It's time to have an honest and open conversation about the impact of sexism in the workplace and how we can make it better for everyone. Identifying the Elephant in the Room series starts March 16th. Register today at inicibox.vfairs.com. That's INICIBOX.VFAIRS.com, and join the conversation to be part of the solution. Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. It is so much fun to be back in the studio. Wow. And it's nice to see you, Daryl. It really is. Is dying necessarily sad? Our guest, by the way, is Bob Uslander, and from Empowered Endings. Bob, is dying sad?
Well, there's an aspect of dying that is sad, for sure. Does the whole experience need to be sad? No. In our experience, I mean, I've lost loved ones. Both my parents passed away. That was certainly sad. Watching my children lose their grandparents, very sad. The fact that we no longer get to hug and be with people is sad. but it's a natural part of the life cycle. If we fight against it and pretend that it's not natural, I think that that is potentially harmful for us. And the the way that our patients are able to go through the journey, and the loved ones are able to support them and be supported through the journey, allows for so many moments that are not sad. When people have an opportunity to plan their end of life in a way that brings their loved ones together in support of them, everybody understands that the time frame is limited, and they have an opportunity to say what they want and create some of the experiences that they want. The ultimate loss is sad, but the experience of going through it is often punctuated by moments of joy and periods of joy in a way that typically doesn't happen when that support isn't available and people are trying to figure it out for themselves.
You know, the last couple of months, the last month, I've become somewhat nostalgic. I'm looking up old friends. I have a birthday coming up next month. So does Daryl. And I've become, as I said, nostalgic. I actually had dinner with my wife and one of my sisters at a restaurant that we used to go to with our parents, and they've been gone quite a while. And it was nostalgic, as I said. And I'm reaching out to friends that I may not have talked to in 20 years or more. Of course, I went to high school, graduated high school just a few years ago, like 5. But I guess my point is am I looking, do you think, at the end already? I'm too young to go.
Mark, who knows if you're looking at the end? There's a decent chance that you're closer to the end than the beginning of your life.
Yes.
But I mean, we have people who live to be, over 100 and do so happily.
Daryl and I just interviewed a doctor who is 102 years old and still practicing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And those people are out there. And there's also a number of people who are approaching that age and are not very happy, and they've lost a lot of their abilities and the things that are meaningful for them in their life. And they would like to have a choice. And that's part of what we are. That's a big part of why we came into existence, is to help people have choice. The healthcare system and our society tend to not let people know that they have options. And many people, I've had many patients who are in their 90s, over 100, who are confused about why they're still alive. They ask me all the time, like, why am I still here? And they often, in conversations with their loved ones or with me, they say, every morning I wake up and I'm disappointed because I have to go through and struggle through another day. And it turns out that there is an option. There are options. We talked about medical aid in dying for people who have a terminal condition, but one of the other legal and very gentle and dignified ways for a person's life to end is to choose to stop eating and drinking. It's called voluntarily stopping eating and drinking. And most people believe that doing so would be horrendous. It would be like torture to not eat and drink and to allow life to end that way. And it's not. It's actually if it's supported properly with the right medical support and social structure around, it can be a very gentle, peaceful, comfortable way for life to end. People often just kind of fade away, go to sleep. Sometimes they need some medication for comfort. But I think one of the things that society is, and the healthcare system, medical providers are going to learn about and understand, is that we have more options, more control over the end of our life than we've ever known. And we should be supporting people in making these choices rather than living in a way that it feels like torture to them.
As a medical doctor, you're a scientist. Of course, they say medical arts. They never say medical scientists, but medical arts. Do you have religious or at least spiritual thoughts?
I'm very spiritual. I was raised Jewish, but I don't really. I'm not practicing in any particular religion. I've studied Buddhism and I've studied
You're a
Taoism.
Buju like me.
Buju, exactly. But I have a very deep spiritual practice and connection with everything, with the universe, and I believe we all are connected energetically, and so my desire is to help support people who are suffering and to give them comfort, to provide them with knowledge and understand the options and give them permission to make choices that honor their own values. And I'm also very passionate about, and my wife is as well, about educating others about how to do this well, how to support others in letting people achieve a dignified, gentle, comfortable end of life when they believe it's their time. People ask me all the time, why do we treat our pets better than we treat our people? Because when a pet is suffering,
We put them down.
we just give them a gentle, peaceful exit, and no one, we don't question it. This is the right thing to do. But people have such, there's so much concern and struggle around offering the same thing to our loved ones.
Bob, how do religious people feel about empowering endings?
Well, I think there's a wide range. I think in any religion, the people who are very sort of orthodox and conservative in their religion often feel like other people should be following the same tenets and feel justified in imposing their views on others. We take care of a lot of people who are religious. They just don't allow their religion to interfere with what they know is right for them.
We have similar backgrounds, which I guess we've said. Anybody at the last minute say, hold it, just a second. I've had second thoughts. Let me stop. Do they do that? Or
we haven't had anybody. I'm sure it's happened out there, but in my experience, and we've supported hundreds of patients through their end of life journeys, I haven't had anybody who stopped at the last minute and decided that they weren't comfortable or ready to go ahead. By the time someone makes the choice, sets a date, brings their loved ones around them, they've gone through a discernment process and they are ready. Sometimes this happens earlier in the discernment process, which is where we will sometimes bring our grief counselors and our spiritual counselors into the mix, so they can help patients discern and move through that. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes they never get to the point of true acceptance, and they take a different path.
Bob, we're out of time. It's been fascinating, and I really appreciate your being here with us on Late Night Health. The name of the company, EmpoweredEndings.com, EmpoweredEndings.com. And we'll have lots of information up on LateNightHealth.com, and that's LateNightHealth.com. Bob, again, thank you very much. We're going to take some time out. When we come back, we'll have much more right here on Late Night Health. Don't go away as Late Night Health continues.